What are car companies doing with their advertising? Yes, it's time for a grumpy session again. I did record this earlier on in the week, but I think I got a bit too angry, so I'm rewriting my rant. Now, if you remember, some time ago, Toyota, they got hauled over the coals a bit for advertising self-charging cars. Yeah, the main source of power was coming from the internal combustion engine. So this petrol engine charges the small battery whilst driving, and then the battery and electric motor kick in for maybe about a kilometre, and then the petrol engine's back up and running. Over the fully petrol-powered version, it will save a few percent on consumption, but for the extra price, because you're not only paying for the petrol engine and parts, but the battery and electric motor and all the control units they need. So you're not actually saving money over time, and you are making a small difference to polluting the atmosphere, but there are better ways to do that. But now Toyota are back at their very misleading advertising. They're now advertising their Prius as an EV with an engine. And also their use, and other companies of the word electrified, is designed purely to confuse people. Their one full electric car was a complete disaster. The wheels literally fell off and they had to recall or buy back the BZ4X. And now our local Kia dealer in Mandurah is advertising the Kia Niro, no plug on it, as a self-charging hybrid. I mean, come on, guys. They are trying to dupe the public into thinking they're getting an electric vehicle that they don't have to plug in. But they still have to burn the old dino juice, which is still detrimental to the planet. They aren't the only ones calling their electrified vehicles self-charging. They've even got the reporters doing it. In our Saturday paper here, they've got a section called the West Wheels. And in it, they've got the reporters doing it. They've got something here on the Great Wall Motors Jolion. And they've got it as a 1.5 litre petrol electric self-charging hybrid. What a load of bollocks. And even in the write-up, self-charging hybrid. For sake, really? All this rubbish that's being sprouted about has got one purpose. It's to confuse the public into thinking they're doing the right thing by buying electric. But they still got to go and fill it up with petrol or diesel on a regular basis to charge their self-charging heap of shit. Look, I used to own a plug-in hybrid before I got my Tesla 3 years ago. I got it as the Model 3 just wasn't available. And in fact, at that time, people I know now had to wait 3 years in Australia from order to get their Model 3. And because I was driving big diesels, I then found out that what was coming out of the exhaust was not very good. So I wanted to do something about it. And I ended up buying a plug-in hybrid. Now, it wasn't as bad as that because, you don't want to affect people's health around you. So I got my plug-in hybrid, and it had a range on battery only of about 40 kilometres, which was great because back then I was working and the journey to work was 19, journey home was 19, 38. I'd get home and it would just about be clicking onto the petrol engine occasionally, but I could get it home, plug it in, charge it up before I went out again. So, that way I was avoiding a lot of the noxious nasties that were coming out the tailpipe. The only unfortunate thing was that once you've done so much without having the petrol engine working, it stops you using electric and this starts the petrol engine, and you cannot turn it off until you've used up some petrol and filled up about half a tank. So it wasn't the best, but it was the best I could get at that time, because my wife wouldn't let me buy a Model S or X because they were too expensive. So even though the plug-in hybrid was advertised as doing 1.7 litres per 100k, it didn't. It was closer to 3, because you've got to use the bloody petrol engine every now and again. But really, the soft hybrids and the plug-in hybrids are at the end of their use. Battery technology has come a long way since Toyota first released their Prius, 10, 12 years ago. They could have been at the forefront of the battery electric vehicle revolution, but no, they just effed it up. I've got a few predictions about which legacy auto companies will still be making cars in 5 to 10 years' time, and Toyota ain't on it. I believe that the Chinese car manufacturers are actually going to dominate the battery electric vehicle market worldwide. You see, first we had the Fords and what have you around, and then came Japanese car manufacturers, and they took over, and they were the best-selling cars for a long time. They started to wane a bit, and the two main Korean companies, Kia and Hyundai, which are actually now one company, kept it going, and they took over and were initially pretty crap cars, but now bloody good cars. And what is happening now, I believe, is the Chinese manufacturers, and certainly BYD, if they can keep up their growth, they will possibly overtake Tesla in a year or two. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. So thanks for watching this somewhat edited rant from the original. Don't forget, please click that like and subscribe button below, and you would be amazed at how it actually helps the channel. I'm still learning what makes YouTube tick, and video recording and editing. I certainly feel that things are a lot better than when I first started, but there's still plenty of room for improvement. But all those clicks, likes, subscribes, and so on really do help the channel. So thanks very much, and I'll see you all very soon.